If you click this video, you're one of the few who digs deep time. But I'm betting you haven't heard these names. Tonight we crack open the files on 8 obscure fossils that make paleontologists put the pen down, stare at the family tree, and rewrite the labels. Stick around to the end, you're about to touch the darker edge of life's history. Number 8. TULLY Monster Picture. Diving a muddy Carboniferous lagoon in Illinois. Water like black coffee. Out of the silt slides a foot-long cigar with a triangle tail, 2 eyes on a side-to-side stalk like an old TV antenna, and a front nozzle tipped with tiny pincer teeth. In 1966, collector Francis Tully cracked open siderite concretions at Mason Creek and found this thing. He took it to the Field Museum. The verdict shrugs all around. Not a mollusk. Not an arthropod. Not a conodont worm or tunicate. Everyone had a theory. Nobody signed the paperwork. The geology says, free swimming in brackish shallow seas, sometimes swept ashore and buried fast, hence the rare soft tissue detail. That grabby little proboscis screams water column predator, probably cruising the brown stuff. Then the taxonomic soap opera in 2016, some called it a jawless vertebrate cousin. In 2017, others said, nope, more likely invertebrate. Safe label today, bilaterian. Which is science for almost everything. Illinois still made it the state fossil, like naming a UFO your county mascot. Think Subnautica with a bolt-on eyebar. Small, creepy, and its identity screen still says loading. Number 7. TYPHLOESUS. 70s Montana. Bear Gulch limestone drops a riddle older than Tully Serpicovian, roughly 330 million years back. Palm-sized torpedo body, one tail, clearly a swimmer. Look closer, get a headache. No obvious limbs. No clear midsection. No, exit. And a brand new iron-rich organ nicknamed the Pteryx. Function. Your guess is as good as anyone's. A later specimen showed teeth, so folks parked it with conodonts. Then a buzzkill noticed those teeth sat in the gut. Translation: that was dinner. Back to square one plus one fact: it's a tiny carnivore. Decades of silence, then 2022 evidence of a toothy shootout tongue like a radula. Q maybe a mollusk. Problem is, radula-like gear evolves more than once. Evolution moonlights as a copy machine. So the verdict stays could be. Bottom line, a swimming mystery with a versatile stomach and a resume written in fog. It's like thinking you found your AirPods, then realizing you pocketed someone's breath mints. If you're still here after TYPHLOESUS, you're one of us. Hit like, subscribe, and the bell that keeps this show on the algorithm's good side. Number 6. ADAKISTUS. Back to Mason Creek, where a living letter walks out of the rock. 2 parallel legs, a crossbar, and a pouch bulging in the middle, an uppercase H, with attitude. Sizes vary a lot, hinting at a colonial lifestyle that grows for life. Estuary mud and fast burial explain the soft tissue snapshots. Siderite turned bodies into time capsules. The geometry stumps everyone. Are those limbs for anchoring, filtering, or just scaffolding? Best guess, ADAKISTUS fed on drifting particles in quiet water, maybe standing like a weird fence post. The center pouch, a chaos button. Round on this one, heart-shaped on that one, anatomy by personal preference. Phylogeny teases hemichordata, think acorn worms and taro branch, but the checklist won't let us sign off. Imagine a warped app logo someone exported as the final build. You can lay a ruler on the crossbar all day. It won't tell you why it's there. What we know: it lived, it grew, and it left a geometric riddle in Carboniferous mud. Number 5. ESAMASIA. First glance, a capital Y washed up from deep time. 3 arms splayed, a big slit where they meet, that's the mouth. Outside it screams sea anemone. Inside it breaks the rules. ESAMASIA is bilaterally symmetrical, runs a complete gut. And brace yourself, has a rear exit. So Team Cnidaria bows out. From Mason Creek's ironstone time capsules, we can trace plumbing from that sliding door mouth through real digestive tubing. The arms are the riddle, true limbs or body lobes, shaping water like intake veins on a vintage muscle car. Best bedded anchors in shallow, murky bottom. Currents bring the buffet organics and microbes, then that mouth hoovers it like a shop vac. A closed loop squeezes calories from what most fish would call dirty dishwater. Taxonomically, it's a stress test, looks like Group A. Guts like Group B. Geometry hints Group C. Every family tree redraws itself. Picture Sesame Street Paleo Edition: the alphabet eats, digests, and politely sits afterward. Where does it belong? Animal is the only label we can stamp without lying. Everything beyond that needs more slabs, cleaner soft tissue, and at least one fearless grad student willing to argue that the letter Y grew a stomach and dared evolution to flinch. Number 4. NAMACALATHUS. Lay to the Acheron Precambrian fireworks. NAMACALATHUS rises like a little limestone lamp with windows punched around the crown. Microscopic checks say calcite walls, one of the earliest skeletal animals on record. Then we found the soft covering and the vibe changed from neat to don't touch. The outer tissues sport grabby tentacles and ranks of spines. Anything brushing past regrets the meeting. Those windows aren't decor, they're biological openings of many shapes, round heart, hexagon, even odd sevens, apparently packed with organic material and life. Purpose gas exchange, sensing, feeding, pick your poison. Ecology says it scales to the neighborhood, shows up widely, and feels at home on abyssal plains, the ocean's dark, endless parking lot. People try to call it a busted coral. That's like calling a chainsaw a spicy butter knife. Its internal complexity overshoots what corals were doing then, and the timing matters. Sophistication shows up early enough to mess with our tidy timelines. If evolution is a machinist working after hours, NAMACALATHUS is the prototype that set off the shop alarm. Perforated crown, barb trim, trypophobia guaranteed. Final word, definitely an animal surprisingly advanced for its age, and proof the Ediacaran was a workshop, not a lullaby. Number 3. Dickinsonia. Flat, as a griddle segmented like subway tile, Dickinsonia slides across Ediacaran's sand as if someone muted the planet. It's the poster child for what did the first animals actually look like. You find it from Australia to Russia, clearly not a fluke. It liked shallow seafloors with oxygen levels that would make us wheeze, and it left organic halos where it fed like a grease ring under a shop rag. For decades we argued plant, fungus, or animal. Then cholesterol showed up in the fossil neon arrow animal. Still, the geometry pokes your inner carpenter. At first glance, mirror-clean symmetry. Look closer, glide symmetry where one side is offset from the other, like two siding crews didn't coordinate. That weirdness makes it hard to bolt onto modern groups, familiar enough to tease, alien enough to dodge. Lifestyle picture, a living throw rug, slow rolling and rasping biofilm for lunch. No sprinting, no lunging, just relentless low gear grazing a vacuum with a meat warranty. The point is success, headless, legless, minimalist and thriving. Wears it on the tree, early animal with a simple blueprint and odd feeding economy. Anything more precise is a career bet. Until a miracle slab appears, imagine a plush Roomba polishing a billion-year-old floor. Number 2, FRANCEVILLIAN biota. Now we leave the comfy Phanerozoic and dive into the Triassian, about 2.1 billion years back. Black shales in Gabon hold shapes that shouldn't be here so early if you trust old timelines, discs and ovals, tubes, bead strings, even petal-like frills. First papers swung big, colonial, multicellular, maybe eukaryotic. That's like finding a V8 engine before wheels. Pushback came fast, pyrite patterns or burial chemistry, diagenesis in costume. Years of tug-of-war followed. Then the lab work stiffened spines, isotopic fingerprints, zinc among them, hint metabolism, not mineral happenstance. Growth patterns refuse simple crystal logic. If they're truly biota, lifestyle checks out: planktonic drifters in hot shallow deltas, rare habitats when continents were scarce. But the core question is existential, not ecological. Were they alive? Think VHS-grade UFO footage, grainy, jittery, but a few frames make you rewind. Right now the field leans fossil, but that sticker goes on with a shaky hand and asterisks. If the verdict holds, the start line for complex life lurches backward and syllabi get a rewrite. If not, we still learned how convincingly geology can impersonate biology. Either way, deep time just grew bigger, stranger, and a touch louder. Number 1, Nectocaris burgess. Shale, early 1900s, too many stars, some miss their close-up. Nectocaris gets shelved. First pass called it a stretched shrimp, hence swimming shrimp. Later, someone pitched chordate pointing at a tail fin and a supposed notochord. Then 2010 landed 90-plus pristine specimens. Plot twist squidish. Flat kite body, 2 stalked eyes, only 2 tentacles, and no obvious mouth, just a big funnel, maybe a reversible proboscis. Headlines crowned it the earliest cephalopod 30 million years early. Evolution cleared its throat that body plan arrives too soon for the rest of the squid octopus story. Badge revoked. In 2019, a close cousin joined. Together they form Nectocarididae, a family with male but no address. Lifestyle reads: active broad lateral fins on a flattened body, scream agility and hover control, not bottom-hugging laziness. 2 tentacles mean grab and go, more spearfisher than 8-armed locksmith. If that funnel's a proboscis, think deployable shop vac, extend, suck, retract. Streamlined, efficient, slightly rude. Moral of the tale: looks like will burn you in deep time. It looked like shrimp. Then squid. Now it's a reminder the fossil record is a highlight reel with most of the game missing. Until the next miracle slab, enjoy the mystery. Made it this far, welcome to Beats Lore. Hit like, subscribe, and the bell, it keeps us on YouTube's good side. One more slot in next week's rankings. What do we hunt? Deep sea monsters, the living rugs, or the 2 billion year mysteries? Drop your pick below. We'll read them and put your choice on the board. Don't miss the next round.